Yeah, that's awesome. That's sick.
That's super cool, isn't it? Yeah. All right, guys, here's like the third installment of making this Guardian of the Galaxies video. What we decided to do here is kind of put the styrofoam all the way across. We are going to cut it off even right here, but that way it kind of just hides some of the wiring and stuff like that. So that's kind of set up to where we want it and everything. What Jack's doing over here, we did find some of these blue kind of luminescent plants. These things were like $1.99 at Best and Pets, but they only had 3. We wanted to spread them out and have like 4. So we also don't love the fact that there's 3 together, right?
Yeah.
So what Jack's doing is we found this other little green one, basically just popping the green stuff off, and we're gonna have like each one of these is gonna have like 2. So we're gonna have like 8 kind of these little blue things, and they do glow pretty good under the blue or black light. So you know, that's all going awesome there. We got that light, we got this light. We did bring Groot over here too, because he's going to be part of this whole thing. He's going to be on this rack. So we're going to have like some green plants that are fake, that probably are not going to glow, of course. But then, you know, the blue ones will. And then, of course, this light. This light is so neat. This fiber optic light is so neat. And again, if you haven't seen those videos, I mean, they're very early on our channel, all the way back at the beginning of our aquarium playlist, where the guys from Tanked sent us these. And they did a thing with some other company where they did these. And they never really caught on, and they never really took off. But if you want to do something like this, we did a video on some other kind of like fiber optic lights that we got. And all you have to really do is just make sure the end doesn't go in the water. And then as far as this end, what they basically did is they super glued the end. And it's in a plastic tubing. So you can see the end of the fiber optic there, and it's super glued in. But anyway, we'll put a link to that video in the description. What we did with this is kind of funny. The previous owner of our house had an in-law suite. So there's like a whole, that's people wondering, what's the stove doing here? So we turned the in-law suite into my office, right? So there's a whole kitchen here, and we just basically left the kitchen here. The nice part is this little fan. So what we did with this little creation that we made, we left it up here, propped in here with this fan. It does kind of point forward a little bit, which is kind of how we wanted it to go. And so that dried on there. We took 2 pieces of this, and we silicone this on. You can see going through there that reaches both of these grates and both from the bottom. And it totally dried. It's been 24 hours, totally awesome. So what we're gonna do is that is gonna sit inside the tank here. I'll show you guys. Get it in here. Shouldn't be too hard, there we go. So that's gonna sit inside the tank, right about like that. Okay. And then these guys, well, the plants are gonna go in and stuff like that afterward, but these guys, oh, I started working on these, that's the other thing. So these little domes that we showed in the first 2 videos, it's so crazy how much they magnified. I can't wait to see how much they magnify the light. Basically just took a razor, kind of worked my way around and got this. So I'm working on this one. When I get this one done, Jack's gonna kind of wash these real good with just hot water and a scrubby and stuff. And then these are gonna go inside on top of those lights to be like under gravel lights. Now the part that goes in the under gravel filter obviously is you're not gonna see because it's all gonna be covered. The only thing we're a little bit concerned that then algae might grow in the under gravel filter because that light's on. So that's the only thing we're a little bit concerned. We haven't really, but I might just put a piece of tape on the bottom of the tank to block that light or something like that so that that doesn't happen, even though it's only gonna be on a few hours a day. And then the rest of the time the black lights will be on. So we're gonna kind of get, now that you can see how this is gonna be, we're gonna get these guys cleaned up and ready to go in there. Got the plants ready to go, those plants. And this guy, basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it over top of that so that you see this little sculpture looking cool thing instead of like the shaft of that under gravel filter. It's gonna hide just like it did in this little gnome house here. You can see the air coming out the chimney. You can see the shaft inside the door there, but it kind of hides that. So that's gonna be the theory. Is this gonna be, and then this guy right here is gonna be kind of intertwined with all of this, tied around it so that it all like glows and stuff. So we'll see how it all works out. So I'm gonna finish this guy. Jeff's gonna wash him up, and then we're gonna get this stuff all inside there and show you what it looks like. How do they look?
They look good. Didn't you used to have glasses like that?
Dude, that messes my eyes up. Yeah, I did. I got PRK surgery at the Cole Eye Center like 22 years ago or something. But yeah, my glasses were like this. Yeah, you know who you look like? You look like that guy Newt from like the X-Men or whatever. The bad guy from the X-Men movies. Yeah. All right, go clean them up in the sink and stuff. We'll put them in the tank. Okay. Okay, so we moved the tank so we could work on it a little bit more. We're actually going to tape this styrofoam down. Again, you are going to see it a little bit, but it's okay. It's kind of part of the whole thing, and when this pothos grows in, it'll kind of cover some of it. But we're kind of taping that down. Jack's doing that, and I have this over here. Basically, this is what this is going to look like. There's the little, kind of like the little shaft coming out of the under gravel filter. That's where the lights are going to go. And again, you're going to be seeing some of those little bubbles from the inside and then basically coming out of this. What we did is we took our little air stone, took a little thing, show you guys how it's going to go in here. It's just going to kind of go right in there, and it's going to stick right out, and then that's where the air tube's going to come and stick into there. So you're going to see that little kind of, you know, thing coming out of there, and the bubbles coming out, and then that little is going to be our filter, under gravel filter. And again, the reason we didn't really expand it is because there's really not much room also, because we're going to have plants and stuff there anyway. So honestly, with a tank that's only a few gallons like this, that's more than big enough, really, especially if you only have like one fish or something. Again, this tank's a perfect example. We have about the same thing over here. We just have about 3 or 4 grates together. Actually, I think there's only 3 grates in here, isn't there?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, it's totally awesome. So you don't have to cover the entire bottom. You know, you don't really have to do that. So we're going to start putting the gravel in. We're just going to pour it all around here and everything. And then we're going to move the tank back over here. But as far as the light, this guy right here, I think we're going to start putting in here now. And so we're going to do that before we actually put it back over there. So we're going to unplug this guy, get it all hooked up in there. And then when we move the tank, we'll plug it in. All right, so we got the air tube up here. All of these 4 tanks are on basically one small, tiny little whisper that's underneath this stand here, and we got a 4-way thing. It only takes a tiny little bit of air. So this is all ready. The air tube's up here, ready to go onto it. Jack's over here. Now check this out, guys. Let's see what you got going on here. This is so cool, dude. Look at this.
Even better underwater.
Look at, oh, you know what I didn't even count on? The reflection on the background.
Me neither, actually.
Look at that, dude.
It looks like multiplies.
Whoa. And I love the throbbing.
Yeah.
So this, I don't even, Versaloom? Is that the name of the, I think the name of the company was Versaloom. Anyway, we'll put a link in the description and everything from that initial video. So what Jack basically did is, we have everything positioned in here. This is going to come, we left some extra. This is going to come around the tube when we hook the tube onto here. And then it's going to follow it down around. And then he intertwined it, which was a little painstaking. He had to kind of thread it through, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit. Yeah.
Because, again, you're going from the end. So he threaded it through here. And then what we're going to do is once we get the gravel and the plants in here, we're going to kind of thread it a little bit around the bottom. So it's just going to be like this pulsating seed that Ego left on all those planets, right? Yeah. You know what? Honestly, this is way more, it's a different take on Guardians. A lot of people, if they did a Guardians of the Galaxy tank, probably have like the figures and everything. Yeah. And we're going to have Groot. He's going to be part of it. Of course, Gamora.
Groot's the best.
Gamora's a little more orange than green, but she'll do. She's still awesome, right?
Got to have one fish in there that resembles one woman. She's the easiest.
Right. Well, the big thing is we saved her from imminent death. So that if she's a little more, you know, sunburst or orange than green, but I can't get over how awesome these fiber optics look in here. This is killer. I'm excited. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the gravel in here, the plants, and get everything positioned, and then we're going to put it over to here and position it, get the air hooked up, and everything like that. Very excited. Okay, so underneath the curtain, you know how they say don't look behind the curtain, right? Yeah. Like when it comes to Oz, there's so much stuff underneath these tanks. I mean, that's where all the connections are. That's where all the outlets are. But it's all safely done and everything. There's also an under gravel light that lights up this little pond oasis in the Princess tank. But that tube with the Galaxy father and his babies is on top of that right now. And that's going to be the videos after this 4th video of these tanks. That's going to be the video that we're going to be doing as a follow-up on those guys. But anyway, we went in here. We have a 4-part manifold that fuels all of these tanks. And basically what we did is we had to, manipulate that to make sure that each one of these were running. So kind of starting from the bottom, the Princess tank is doing awesome. And again, we are going to take that sponge filter and rinse it out in this guy to help start the bioculture and all that. This one has an under gravel filter. It's doing awesome. Mary Brownfield's doing awesome. I don't know where she went. We were messing around and like taking the air hoses and pumping it with a bicycle pump, which we've shown in videos before to kind of, you know, unplug the air stones to get them all even. So again, she may have hidden. That might have freaked her out a little bit. I think she was in the castle. She went in the castle somewhere. She kind of usually hangs out in this little alcove right here, which is kind of cool because she fits right there. But anyway, she's in the castle. That spooked her out a little bit. And a couple of these autosyncluses will also go. Autosyncluses? I don't know what if I said that right. They're going to go in here as well. And then in here, now there's Gamora. I'm going to turn this light off real quick so you see the reflection. So she's actually doing really good. She's really come around. She's really doing fantastic. Again, she's more of a sunburst type of glow beta, but we already named her Gamora, so that's what she's staying, right?
Yeah.
She kind of comes up to Wade once in a while, and he's really old and she's really young, and they just kind of look at each other, and he's just like, you know, I'm old, and she goes, okay, and she goes away. But she is a beauty, isn't she?
Yeah, she's cool. She's kind of like albino looking at the same time.
When she's in white light, yeah. See how she kind of messes with the snails? She's checking out the snails. This is all new to her, man. She's kind of like a little baby. She just kind of goes up to him, and she looks at him, and he's just like, whatever. Yeah, see, he'd give her like a wiggle or something. And then she just goes away. He just kind of scares her. He's just kind of an old dude hanging out. Anyway, we're not going to keep her in there. She's only going to be in there for a few more days. We did take those rocks like we said we're going to do and kind of stack them up back here and stack them up back here. I've been wanting to do that. Again, you could just see the one little kind of air tube there. No big deal. The crypts are doing awesome in here. The snails are doing awesome in here. She's just checking this whole thing out. But I think she's really going to love this. Now, here it is at night. And so basically what we have is we have a little bit of background lighting from that light. And then you could see here these little globes kind of light up. And they just kind of cause a little bit of light there. Now what we're going to do here, I'm going to reach back here. We did put Groot here, by the way. He looks awesome here. I'm going to reach back here, just kind of turn this top light off. And then you can kind of see there how those white lights kind of shine up. Isn't that cool how they hit the green light, the green plants?
Yes.
Yeah. So they go up like that in the back. And then do that whole pulsating, like,
That looks really cool.
that's super, super neat. What we did is we basically twisted it around the air tube. So the air comes up out of the seed from, you know, the Guardians of the Galaxy kind of thing situation. That, what's his name again? Ego. I always forget Ego's name. I always want to say Geo. It's Ego. So Ego planted these seeds all around the galaxy of different planets. So basically it, you know, starts to grow and go into the roots and stuff like that. It doesn't look like those lights. If I turn the big, I really kind of like it like this. To be honest with you, we'll probably hardly ever use that top light. I'm not seeing the fluorescent. I mean, they do look blue and they're cool, but she'll obviously look pretty cool with that in there. So she'll probably glow with that top light on. But, you know, I think for the most part, we're pretty much just going to leave it like this. And she will probably have some glow effect from this fiber optic kind of dark blue light. So this is really neat. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to take the filters from Wade's tank. We're going to take the filters from Princess tank. We're going to squeeze them out here. We're going to let it go for a couple days. And quite honestly, that's all it takes. We've done this kind of thing quite a few times. And if you already have established filters and everything and you do that, you know, those microbiomes will go right into this under gravel filter and start to grow and filter, and everything should be fine. After a couple days, a few days, whatever we have time for, we're going to do that. We're going to let that acclimate a little bit. We're going to put a couple of these autosynclus in here. We're going to put, there she is checking us now. Going to put Gamora in there. And then we're going to do another follow-up video kind of showing it and probably kind of show what it looks like in total darkness without any of the white lights or anything at all. They are on a timer and they usually turn off around 9 o'clock or 9:30. So all these guys kind of go to bed And then we just kind of have like the under gravel lights or some lighting effects. So we'll kind of show that, and we'll show her in there. I think she's gonna love it. I think she's gonna love it, man.
Yeah.
Look at her checking out these snails. She's like, what's going on with these snails? She's quite lovely.
She'll like to have her own tank.
She was really beat up, and I think we said we gave her like some antifungal and antibiotics and stuff like that, and she healed up and she's doing really well. So look at her checking out this little snail. She's a cutie, man. We'll see how big she gets. She certainly isn't going to get big as Mary. Mary's the biggest female beta I've ever seen in my entire life, and again, it looks like she's hiding in the house there. We were blowing up her air stone, and she was like, forget this. See, you can see how it comes out a little chimney there. Yeah, she's hanging out in there. So yeah, all the autos. So anyway, that'll be the next video. Let me turn this light back on. That'll be the next video. We definitely have to look for something else. It's kind of cool too, because Groot's kind of, this pothos, what's going to happen with this is we have it come around the back. So the roots of this pothos will probably go back into the back of this tank there where that opening is for the filter. And then we'll kind of probably raise this up a little bit, and then those roots will come down just like they do for these other tanks. And then the front, we'll either bring around here, and they'll be wrapped around here and kind of continue down or wherever it goes. We may have it come down or across by Groot, maybe wrap around Groot, maybe go across the front, kind of cover up the styrofoam and stuff like this. So, just depends on how it grows and everything like that. Pretty neat though, huh?
Yeah.
This was a fun little project. I kind of like these little tanks almost more.
Because they don't take as long, and they're kind of fun to do.
Yeah.
They're like themed, and there's not like, there's not a ton of heavy lifting and a ton of time.
Yeah.
You get a lot of enjoyment out of it. But
It's neat.
Fun.
You make you have so much space to work with, and there's not a ton of space, but it's nice to make something kind of different. Again, Versaloom, we'll put links in the description. We have no idea if Versaloom is still making these. They were actually called King's Laser Lighting because Wade King from Tank developed it with Versaloom. And they sent us some, and we had a bunch of these, and we did a bunch of videos on them, and we had this one kind of left over. So anyway, next time you see this, it'll have a nice little culture. There'll be probably no air bubbles, be some autos, and there'll be this young lady in here, and we're really glad we had an opportunity to kind of save her. She's in a bad situation, and she's going to have this awesome tank to herself. I'm guessing it's about 5 gallons, about the same as this one, maybe somewhere between 6 or 7. I don't think it's 10, but so glad that all this is done. I mean, it's just this whole rack is going to be done. And then after that 4th video, when we show them all in there, we're going to share what's going on with this whole situation, right?
Yeah.
Super cool. And we need another guy over here. We need like a rocket or something.
Yeah.
We got to figure out what we're going to do there. Kind of fill that in. All right, guys. Awesome. Well, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the 4th video. And see Gamora in her awesome new tank. Say bye. She's the cutest little thing ever. Look at her eye, how it glows. All right, we'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Oh, there's Mary. See, she snuck back out. This is where she goes. She goes in that little thing under the stairs. Say bye, Mary.